Доброго ранку.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The UCMC Press Center is starting its work. The topic is presentation of the report on the work of the State Youth Housing Fund in 2019. Our speaker is Serhiy, Komnatny, Chairman of the Board of the State Specialized Institution. Good afternoon, dear friends. First of all, I would like to thank you for finding time to attend our event. I would like to thank the UCMC for providing this platform. We invited you to publicly inform about our work last year. The publicity, openness and transparency are the priorities in our work, and we are trying to disseminate all our ideas and explain our plans for the current period and the future. In the beginning of the 1919, we had an ambitious tasks. During the year we've been achieving it, we were adjusting them, and there were some tasks and goals that we have managed to achieve. And today we'll show you what we have been doing in 2019, what are the results of our work. I will comment the slides. You can see all the figures on the screen. Last year we were 27 years old. That is the state institution. Last year the government and the Ministry of Regional Development increased the statutory capital by 10%, and by the end of the year it was more than 360 million hryvnias. Last year we managed to increase our credit portfolio by 27%, and today it's 1.63 billion hryvnias, and in the result of our work 40,350 Ukrainian families received accommodation, housing. Our crediting is at the special rates for the privileged categories of people. We also have some credits which we are servicing according to the state program, and we also have some local programs and they are about compensating the interest on the mortgage. During the whole year 2019, we came with the initiatives with the Ministry of Regional Development as to developing new programs, and we were creating the funds of financing house construction. As to modernization of housing programs, last year there was another stage of modernizing the program of affordable housing. We adjusted the resolution of the government, which helped us improve the mechanism of calculation, the cost for the settlements which are located within 15 kilometers of the regional cities and the city of Kiev. And also maybe if you follow, you know that this year we managed to redistribute the budgetary funds, taking into account the number of citizens which can have the state support. And also last year we implemented the first pilot program for the participants of the ATO and IDPs, and the terms of this program are very similar to the program for youth. The loan is provided with a minimum initial contribution of 6%, the annual rate is 3%, and the citizen can buy only the ready housing. This program started in December and we received about more than 10,000 applications from the citizens all over Ukraine, which means that this is a very important program for the citizens of Ukraine, and the terms are quite affordable for the participants of ATO and IDPs. So all these programs are in all these programs, the citizens can apply via the website, and we have the open registers. I would like also to mention that more than 90% of all our applicants applied in online mode, and that is very good for citizens and the workers of the fund, and that minimizes any risks. And the civil servants, they cannot influence providing the credit. We minimize the risks in this way, and we are trying to do that in all our programs. Last year we worked with local budgets. We approved the programs where they have 11 programs of privileged crediting and 3 of providing state support. You can see how the program was implemented in 2019 and in the previous years. In the result of the half year, the Ministry of Regional Development came up with the initiative of introducing amendments to the state budget, and the program of crediting the participants of ATO and IDPs and the program of affordable housing were corrected. Last year we spent 346, almost 47 million hryvnias for the affordable housing program. Talking about credits for youth, we issued 67 million hryvnias, and almost 190 million were spent for crediting the participants of ATO and IDPs. As to the program of privileged loans for the youth, the money were not planned for this program. Last year we were financing it only from these local budgets. As to local budgets, this slide clearly shows which regions and how are they working and what we managed to do in 2019. We adopted 12 new programs. There will be some comprehensive programs. Today we have 179 procedures for 118 programs. The Kharkiv, Cherkasy, Zaporizhzhia, Lviv, Ivano-Frankivsk, Chernihiv regions are very well developing their programs. We see a big progress in Odessa region. Last year there was no funding for Odessa, and this year we have more than 11 million. We managed to preserve the trend of increasing funding for housing programs from local budgets, and we managed to finance more than $250 million hryvnias for that. We managed to do that because of our cooperation with the local authorities. We organize some joint events. We convince the representatives of the authorities that these programs are really needed for the region and for every citizen of the region. In the future, we'll cooperate with the local authorities and we'll be increasing the numbers of programs and the budgetary money which go there. That's my favorite slide, which shows our results of work. To the left is number of families which received housing in Ukraine. According to the program of affordable housing, 989, 460, these are for young citizens, for teachers and medicians, and 198 for the participants of ATO and IDPs. Looking at the financial resource, we raised 530. We received 538 million from the state budget, and then we received money from the local budgets, and in total we invested 1.5 billion hryvnias into this sector. Back in 2017, we came up with the initiative to modernize our programs for the participants of ATO and IDPs. In 2018, the IDPs had no right to participate in these programs, but now we modernize this program of crediting. We have some new programs for these categories of citizens, and the IDPs and participants of ATOs will participate in many of such programs. Last year, 435 families enjoyed the results of our programs, and starting from 2017, these are 1,055 families of IDPs who were using our housing programs. This slide shows the dynamic of development of our indices within the last 3 years. The number of citizens that receive, families that received housing grew up threefold. And the main thing is what we'll be doing in 2020. I would like to remind you that last year the President published the order, and that is about large-scale programs of providing housing for some categories of people, including participants of ATO and IDPs. In the end of December, the Prime Minister issued the order which created the working group, and I am there, and we're working on the concept of the state comprehensive state housing program. We hope that next year we will pass this concept, and then we will start implementing this program. This program provides for generalizing all the mechanisms which exist in the country. And also we have an ambitious goal within 3 or 5 years to provide housing to more than 50,000 families using different credit mechanisms. We want the results to be a dozen times better than the previous year. Also, we are working on digitalizing these programs. The citizens can apply online, but that's not the result we want to achieve. We want to create the electronic office of the client, where our client will be able to communicate with the representatives of the funds in online, and then they will be able to apply, to follow what's happening with his loan and so on. And that is Pablo Mateo, the head of the UN program is helping us, and this will simplify for the citizens the participation in the program. This will decrease all corruption risks, and this will allow to develop other programs, and we will be using these electronic offices in other programs. Also, the further development of local housing programs is another goal that we have. We have to convince every mayor that such programs are needed in the regions, and they are needed for the economy of the region. And I hope that such powerful organizations with who we cooperate will be helping us in that. Then development of new and modernizing existing mechanisms of providing housing for different categories of citizens. We also want this year to develop some unified standard for all the programs, and this will be for all the programs, and also deepening the cooperation with international partners is one of our priorities. We do have hope that Ukraine will implement the resolution 2188 of the Council of Europe as to cooperation with the bank, which will help us to develop all our infrastructural projects, and the project of the Council of Europe is helping us here, and we are cooperating with the countries which also cooperate with this bank, and we also know that any country of the world would be able to resolve all these problems by its own, and there's no other country in the world which would have so many IDPs as Ukraine. So without the cooperation with the financial institutions and international institutions, we will not be able to really resolve this problem. So we'll be lobbying this in the government, and these are the partners with who we managed to achieve these results that I presented. We are open for new meetings, for new partners. Please join our work. I thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer the questions that you will have. If you have questions, please introduce yourselves.
Good afternoon. NGO, Правовий Donbass. Do you take in this program that you've announced the interests of IDPs from Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts, those who participated in these programs before the start of military actions? And because of these military actions, they were not able to get property rights on their housing, and their houses were not put into operation. That's why now they cannot get the state support once again. And this is a narrow issue about a small number of people, but this issue is broader than the issue concerning the development of this complex program, and these issues will be regulated in legislation in order to have this issue resolved concerning property that remains in the occupied territories. Maybe this will be resolved by the Ministry of Youth. We will try to help you in this issue. I cannot tell you that this will be taken into account in this program. I had the construction chamber of Ukraine, Sheluk Pavlo. You've said that applications were made for 10,000, And last year you had 500 million, this is half of billion, and average flat costs about 1 million. So 1 billion is needed. What are the plans for the future? Billion is not so much in order to implement this program. During 4 years, you would like to have 50,000. You would like to help 50,000 people during the next 4 years. Thank you for raising this question, not only during our meetings, but also during the meetings with the Prime Minister. This is really important, because all those who take decisions concerning financing for housing programs, they should know about this need from our citizens and also from developers. The main material now for construction is money. We may build wonderful financial mechanisms, but we should have real sources of financing. Otherwise, these initiatives will remain on paper. That's why in this comprehensive program, we clearly identify the sources of financing. Recently, an order was provided by the President to the Parliament based on pilot programs for IDPs and ATO. We want to find money in the budget and to provide financing to this program, and we believe that the government will implement this order of the President, but budget money is not enough in order to completely change situation for these categories of people concerning housing. That's why we should find cooperation with international financial institutions. Good afternoon, Serhiy Alexandrovich. Thank you for this invitation. I came here to your event. I'm from the Committee on Organization of Local Governance, and we represent Mr. Klitschko. I would like to provide his words to you and to all who are present here. Maybe this will contribute to the development of the new programs. On behalf of the head of the Verkhovna Rada, on the Committee of City Development, I would like to thank you for your presentation of this report, and I would like to wish all of us a fruitful discussion. And I will provide this report to the head of the committee. The committee supports the activity of the cabinet of ministers, and the citizens of Ukraine, they should have comfortable conditions, those who search for their own housing. Now we will provide cheaper credits, and with such opportunities. And in the nearest future, we should form and start implementation of the new strategy concerning construction policy, and provide rent housing at affordable price to the categories of people who need this the most, IDPs and other categories. And also we should understand that the state should provide orders for construction of housing and finance this housing stage by stage, and this housing should be built. The committee is open for discussions of the issues concerning future programs, including the new organization that would deal with orders for construction, and maybe this would be under the profile ministry. Thank you. And what is your name? Artyom. Artyom, please, we would like to thank the head of the committee, and also we would like to say that we agree that we need to develop a new concept of the housing policy that would correspond the requirements of time, the construction code. This should be done This year, in accordance with the order of the President, we need this code until the end of 2020, and I believe that the Parliament and the government will be able to cope with this issue. About the mechanisms for buying of housing, the government and the Parliament, you formed a policy, and you should identify this policy, and we are the instrument to implement this policy, and we will be able to face any challenges. Good afternoon. I'm with the representatives of IDPs. I am Alona. I have many children on the program for 3%. We were searching for opportunities to have some housing, and 94% of square meters. I have 3 children, 5 children of my husband, and we have parents who are pensioners, and they are not in the program, and it is impossible to live, all of us, in one 3-room flat. And we have also boys and girls in our family. And do you plan to introduce some changes to the program? About space, first, and meterage, and you are the first who asked about this. Other people said that it's enough to have 42 square meters, 21 square meters for for a person, and for example, this will be 73 square meters for the family. Yeah, we may raise this question, but we have also central bodies of power, and they provide their considerations about it. And we have limitations of 94 square meters, and the position of the government is to unify approach to identification of meterage and cost in all housing programs. Build your own house. Maybe you will have more space there. Good afternoon. Elena Zubko. I'm the representative of Yasna NGO. I have a question, and I have been asking it for 2 or 3 years already. Kiev and Kievan Oblast do not respond our questions, and the programs for ATO and IDPs do not respond. How can we resolve our question? This is one of the main problems in Kiev. There were no local programs that would be implemented with our company. Previously, they implemented them through Kreshchatyk Bank and directly through Department of Kiev City Administration. Now the situation changed, and you address and you may address the city head, as we do, and he is the head of the Association of the Cities, and he may get experience of, for example, Kharkiv city. I do not hear him. Let's think about all possible non-standard steps that are envisaged by law. Maybe you should have an appointment with the city head. Please speak to a mic, I do not hear you. We will ask the Association of Cities to have such a meeting. Yeah? Okay. A question. Oleg Peretyaka, freelance journalist, IDP from Lugansk Oblast. First question about your report. You've said that IDPs 782 and the program didn't work at that time. Why do you state this number at the end of last year when you got money? They started to conclude agreements, and at the end of the year, dollar fell, and the prices for housing, they somehow went up. and we do not know why. And many people were deprived of opportunity to buy housing through 50-50 program. So this is private-public partnership, and maybe they wanted just to earn on this. When we are speaking about development, state construction, but we do not have it in this city. There are no state companies, no firms that would construct and build for people, vulnerable categories, for IDPs. Maybe we should think about construction that would be supported by the state. And maybe we should get opportunity to the people to buy some ready-made flats, because it is difficult for them to start anew in the new homes, in order not to live at the top of the so in order that they will be able to buy ready-made flats, not to construct them from the beginning. First, about figures. So in 2019, these were 782, and also about the state and non-state order. You know that the program of affordable housing provides housing that is chosen by people. Citizens, they do not go to one institution. They may address different firms. And we do not regulate the currency. And you should not ask me about dollar rate. About state construction firms, we had Ukrbud. And this is not question to me. This is the question about state policy. And people, they should be able to have flats in comfortable environment where they have schools, kindergartens, and affordable housing. This is construction of new houses, and also there may be ready-made flats. And the program appeared in 2009. There was law in Ukraine on the influence of the world crisis on housing issues. This is helping people to buy housing and to stimulate the industry, and we should come out from these positions. And the last question, dear friends. Good afternoon. Kuznetsov Yuri. I'm a pensioner, disabled person, and I'm IDP. First question about distribution of money from the state budget, the division in accordance with the quarters of the year. And affordable housing is financed at the end of the year, and there is chaos and because of this. And you are smiling, but you know about it. And in Kharkiv, on the 24th, they said all those who have money and documents, they should come at noon, and 7 people came, and they got everything, and they are far in the queue, and you know about this issue. Maybe this is not a question to you, but there should be financing for each quarter of the year. Then the foundation will work in a normal mode, and it will be working with all the candidates. In December, a director took his own decisions. We do not know whether they are transparent or non-transparent, and they just violated the order in the queue. Also, affordable housing programs should be revisited because this may be different types of housing that are included there. And we should work with the candidates, not when money came and to declare this in 5 days. So you should speak with people beforehand who is ready to participate, and then we won't have these problems in December. More money was provided this year and 3% was provided, and I understand that workers who are involved, they are not to be blamed, but we should work more with IDPs. You cannot influence the cabinet of ministers because you are their structure and they can do this. And you should have agreement with them, and money should be provided quarterly, and then the situation will be clear and there won't be any undercover games in this. And some people believe that we would like to have financing in December and work in 3 shifts, but this is not the case. And theoretically, this financing is provided quarterly, and starting second quarter, we will be dealing with these issues in the program of affordable housing. And you know that this was done after the changes were provided in the state budget, and the money were distributed from other programs. And these were funds of December, and we could reject this money, or we could choose the way to take this money. And this was not comfortable, not for us, not for our citizens, but of course we will press the government that the programs need financing, and they should not provide all the money in December. They should do it in October or November at least. And I agree with you on this. And maybe you've seen that it is difficult for the workers of the regional departments to work with such a big number of people at the end of the year. I agree with you on this. We will do, and you should contribute more as a representative of civil society. You may address the government, the Ministry of Finances, and other institutions about introduction of changes to the program of affordable housing concerning objects. There should be understanding that if this is a social and economic program, this is not only for IDPs. This program that we modernized and provided opportunities to IDPs to participate in this. The majority now is they are IDPs, but there should be several programs for such people, and there are programs that provide may provide housing at the secondary market, and there should be created institutions and funds of social housing as well. Thank you, dear colleagues. Once again, I would like to thank you for finding opportunity. So if you're here today with us, then we see that you are interested in these issues. Thank you and have a nice day.